What up everyone, my name is Storm and today's video is a different type of video. So in this video right here, we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to make your game run smoother and better and uncapping your FPS. Just a heads up, this is for PC only, for Steam and Epic Game users. To make your game from this to this. To get started with the tutorial, we have to go check your monitor display to check your refresh rate. When you're on your desktop screen, right click on your mouse, go to display settings and click on that. Let's scroll down until you see advanced display settings. Click on that. You're going to be seeing all this information, but you only need to check one specific part, which is the refresh rate. If it's above 60, we can mess around with some of the settings and go from 60 FPS to 120. Once you've done that, I want you to go to the window icon search bar and type in %app data. Go to the top of the search bar and click on app data. Go to your local and click that folder. Scroll down until you see Dead by Daylight and click on that folder. Click on the save folder and go to config. This bit is important because a window no editor is your Steam profile, EGS is your Epic Games account. We're going to be starting off with the Steam file for this part, and then we'll do the Epic Games later on. Just heads up, this section will be more in depth with the in-game graphics. If you want to change your FPS for Epic Games, then I'll put a timestamp and chapters in the description below so that you can skip this part if you want. But I would recommend watching it anyway. We're going to be looking at two certain files, which is the engine and the game user settings. Before we start messing around with these settings, I would recommend backing this folder up on your desktop or somewhere safe. So we're going to go back and copy this folder and then put it in our backup folder. So now we've got like a backup just in case everything goes wrong. If you can't edit these files, right click on your engine, go to properties and untick read only and then click apply. This will pass you the option to edit this file. When we click on engine, I want you to put in this specific code, which I'll put in the description below. All I want you to do is copy the text in the description below and put it in this section. So it's going to look like this, but if we scroll down, click enter and then copy in this code. But let me explain what this actually does. So the first section right here pretty much disables the mouse acceleration because you want your mouse to be consistent, and this removes mouse acceleration. And then the second section pretty much uncaps your frame rate. Just a heads up, the developers have capped the frame rate of a 120, but I kept it at 144 for the future, and it's been working smoothly so far. After putting this code in your notepad, click on file and click save. Close it off, and remember to right click on your engine, go to properties again, click on read only and click apply. If you forget to put your game on read only, your Dead by Daylight game will reset back to default, and it can mess up with your performance. After when we're finished with the Engine.ini file, then let's get into the next section, which is the game user settings. Remember, you have to right click on the folder and go to properties and untick the read only and then click apply. We'll start off with the basics and then we'll go into more depth later in the video to explain all this section up here. I'm not going to confuse you just yet. So if you want to uncap your FPS from 60 to 120, you just have to follow these settings. But remember, if your monitor is above that, which we showed prior in this video. So if you missed that step, go back and check it out. All I want you to do is scroll down until you see use VSync equals true. Dead by Daylight has set this at the default, so you are using VSync, and this is why it's capped at 60 FPS. All you have to do is change it to false. This will help with reducing input lag. This will make your movement, your skill checks, and everything in general a lot smoother compared to keeping VSync on. Hopefully that makes sense. After when you've done that, I want you to scroll down again and find frame rate limit. This is default set to 60. So what I want you to do is change it to 120. Then I want you to go to file and click save. That's your FPS done. But if you want to put your game in full screen because Dead by Daylight is set to default, just scroll up or scroll down until you find full screen mode and then set it to 0. So after doing these settings, it should look like this. That's pretty much it if you want to play uncapped in Dead by Daylight. But you can change your in-game settings from low to ultra depending on if your PC can handle it. I'll show you an example from low to ultra to see what you think, and then you can pick your best option. If you want to go into more depth with changing your settings, we'll go into the game user settings and tweak a little bit of things. This is the more advanced part. So onto the more in-depth side of the settings. Of course, we are going to go back to the game user settings, and remember, go into properties and read only so we can edit the file. So when you click on it, you have this little section at the top pretty much saying scalability groups, but I'm going to explain what the numbers actually mean before we do get into it. From 0 being the lowest and then 4 being the ultra, this is pretty much what you have to think of. What actually happened with 3? I literally have no idea, to be honest. It doesn't show up in the file or works properly. If you have any ideas why this doesn't work, put them in the comments below. So before we do get into the scalability, and if you're still lagging, we're going to be talking about the screen resolution first and what you can do with it before we do get into the view distance, the anti-isolation, I can't pronounce that word, just a heads up, shadow quality, and so on. So I'm going to be be changing each different one. We're going to be doing it in quarters, so 25, 50, 75, and 100. So I'm going to show like a little example on screen of each different one. So let's get into the more in-depth side of it for the scalability groups to help you improve your performance and make the game run even more smoother. But remember, these settings work for me and they have helped us with streaming and content creation, and I've had no lag and no issues. But it all depends on your PC specs, and you might have to readjust some of these settings, but this is like a baseline which works for me. Also, behavior has disabled some of these settings where you can't really see much difference, which I completely understand to make it fair for the console players and the PC players. But let's start from the top, which is view distance. I have this setting on 2, anti-aliasing quality. I have this setting on 0 because I play fast pace and I like to move my mouse quite a bit for moonwalking and when I'm playing like fast mobility killers. Also, it happens with grass, cold wind farm corn, and pretty much anything that has a checkered board pattern. I prefer having it just turned off because I don't like the blur like when I'm moving side to side when I'm moonwalking. So onto the shadow quality. It depends on how you want to play. Personally, I have the shadows turned off or I have it set to 2. All depends if you want FPS or if you want to see some shadow and detail on your characters and in-game. I will show all 4 options and you can personally pick which one's your favorite. But remember, it all depends on your FPS. Certain maps may be darker than others, for example, Guardian's Joy and Cold and Farm. So you might have to mess around with some of the settings for the map. Got post processing quality. I personally have this set on 1, but if you want the game brighter, you can have this setting on 0. Is a low and medium setting, which I'll put on screen. I bounce between both of them. It all depends on if I'm having some performance issues with the game, and sometimes it can pass me a fright, for example, a spooky Myers or a ghost face. So we get them awesome, lovely jump scares. And I do want some of the colors looking better, like the grass and the buildings and so on. Texture qualities, I didn't really see much difference with this one, so I just kept it on 2 or 4. But if you see any difference, let me know in the comments below. So effect quality, this does rely on your performance, so be careful. Low has no shadows or details on the grass or certain object, but high and ultra does. Like I said, this affects your FPS, so I would recommend 2 or 3 to see some details. But if you start to like, I would lower it. But it all depends on your PC specs. Shading, animation, I would recommend putting this on 0, but I have the animation on 2 for a while. But I started to get some FPS stutters against certain killers. So you've pretty much done all the Steam side of it, and let's get into the Epic Games side. So this will make sense for you. Just a heads up, I will put both of these text files in the description below, or I'll put them in the Discord server so you can download it and just copy and paste it into your notepad. Once you've done that, I want you to go to the window icon search bar and type in %app data. Go to the top of the search bar and click on app data. Go to your local and click that folder. Scroll down until you see Dead by Daylight and click on that folder. Click on the save folder and go to config. This bit is important because a window no editor is your Steam profile. EGS is your Epic Games account. So pretty much when we're back on the config side of it, the EGS is your Epic Games. So we're going to be opening up the Epic Games and the Steam. Just a heads up. All right, so we've got both of them open right now, and it's pretty much a copy and paste. That's what we're going to be doing because Epic Games don't allow us to edit the files that well. So we're going to be copying it from the Steam to the Epic Game. Don't worry, we are going to be doing a full-on test at the end. Remember to back up your folders, which I did mention at the start. Remember, you have to go into the engine and take off the read-only so we can edit. So we've got the Steam side on my left, and then we've got the Epic Games on the right. I'm just going to copy everything off on the Steam, and I'm going to put it into the Epic Games one, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is click File, and then Save As, and close that. Properties, Read-Only. And then what we're going to be doing again is we're going to go back to the game user settings. I'm going to click on that on both of them. Just have to double check they're not on read-only. Left side is my Steam, and then the right is the Epic Game. So I'm going to copy it all over. So Control and C to copy, and then Control V to paste. Then we're going to go to File, and then click Save. Close it down on both of them, and then we're going to put them in read-only. All right, so both of them are in read-only. That's pretty much it, what you have to do. Don't worry, I am going to show it off. All right, so we just did the mini tutorial, and it can show that we are on 120 or 119, I would say. 119, 120. So these are my Steam settings. Well, pretty much work. I had no issues with it. No crashes, nothing. Looks like it's all running very smoothly. So no lag, nothing. This is pretty much the showcase of like it working on the Epic Games. I know some people would be very wary when I'm like copying stuff on the Steam folder to the Epic Games, but no issues. I've been on Epic Games for a month when my Steam account was playing up, and I used these exact same settings and no issues at all. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Hopefully it did help. And if you guys did find it helpful or anything, click the like button, comment, and subscribe whilst you're at it. It'd be much appreciated. But if you want to see more tutorials for Dead by Daylight, let me know. I'll try my best to figure out how to do them. This is my first ever one. And tell me how it went. I know some of you have mentioned it in the past, like in the YouTube comments or my Twitch streams, about how I made my game look really good. But I think I'm going to save that for another video because I need to do a little bit more research on the reshader and just make it really good for you guys to watch. Hopefully it does make sense. But let me know if you want me to showcase it. It'll be much appreciated. If you guys want to check us live on Twitch, then feel free. We do stream on Tuesdays, Saturdays around 5 or 6 p.m. BST. And if you guys want to use code STORM at Sneak Energy, it'd be much appreciated and be supporting me as a content creator. Also, if you have any questions about the tutorial or any future tutorial videos, feel free to put them in the comments below or feel free to join the Discord server and I'll try my best to answer each and every one of you. But thank you for watching. Remember to stay safe, stay awesome, stay lovely, and enjoy the rest of your day or night, depending on where you are. And peace.